So I don't know if you've heard this one, but go with it if you did. The mafia. The mafia is a bad thing, but those who are in it traditionally have also claimed to be Catholic. So, 3 mafiosos die, and they have to face Peter at the gates of heaven. Peter knows they have led a bad life, but they plead with him to let him in because they are Catholic. And so St. Peter decides, I'll give you a test. If you can tell me what Easter is, you won't have to go to hell. So the first one says, yeah, I know what Easter is. It's the day the baby was born, and he in a shed, I think, and the angels all sang about it. Down he goes. So the second guy comes up and says, nah, of course that's not it. I know what it is. It happens around springtime. And the Irish especially love it. Yeah, and they wear green and drink green beer. That's Easter. Down he goes. Finally, the third guy speaks up. These guys don't know Easter. Yeah, it's in the springtime. But it's about Jesus and how he suffered and was crucified and was buried. And then, a few days later, he came out of the grave. But he saw his shadow, and so he had to go back in for 6 more weeks. They don't get it, obviously. Lots of folks don't get it. Mary Magdalene, Salome, and the other Mary, the mother of James, didn't get it at first either. Who will roll back the stone for us? They ask on their way to anoint the dead body of Jesus. And when they get there, he's not. And it says they are utterly amazed. And when the young messenger in the tomb tells them he has been raised and gone to Galilee, and you will see him there, just as he told you, they don't know what to do. The next line in the gospel, which we don't hear today, is then, they went out and fled from the tomb. Seized with trembling and bewilderment, they said nothing to anyone, for they were afraid. They didn't understand it. That's the original ending of the gospel. They didn't understand it. Death meant the end. It meant that terrible, deep pain that says you will never see or know this person again. And the deeper the love, the deeper the pain, right? But I remember seeing an obituary once, and it began with something like, "We are happy to announce that our mother has gone home to God." And then it went on about all the angels and the glorious new life she had. I must admit I was a little taken aback. And some people who read the obituary said to me they were kind of offended. Like, how can they write with no sorrow, no sense of loss for their mother, but this joy? Now, it probably was a little bit over the top, in that it almost seemed to deny that death happened. But they got the spirit of resurrection, hope. Easter is not about the denial of death, but about embracing it and conquering it forever. Jesus died and was buried. We proclaim that in our creed. In fact, the next line in the Apostles' Creed we've been praying during Lent says, He descended into hell. What does that mean? The ancient text doesn't understand hell as we understand it today. This sense of damnation, a place of damnation, but rather a place where the dead went. For we always have had immortal souls. An ancient homily for Holy Saturday uses this imagery about Jesus descending to hell. He wrote, He had gone to search for our first parents, as for lost sheep. He took Adam and Eve by the hand and said, Awake, O sleeper, and rise from the dead, and Christ will give you light. I did not create you to be held prisoner in hell. Rise. Let us leave this place, for you are in me and I in you. You left the garden, and I was betrayed in a garden. No more and never again will sin or death prevail. That's Easter. Awake, O sleeper, arise from the dead, and Christ will give you light. Awake, O sleeper, and rise from the dead, and Christ will give you light. Can you sing that with me? Awake, O sleeper, and rise from the dead, and Christ will give you light. Awake, O sleeper, arise from the dead, and Christ will give you light. He is risen forever. And in him we rise too.